Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo. It is Tuesday, and I'm going to do some more treasure hunting. My overall plan for today is to watch Bocchi. I'm up late again. I fucked up my sleep schedule again. My overall plan for the day is to watch Bocchi. I've been listening to Bandmade all morning, or all mid-afternoon. And I'm gonna watch the next treasure hunting show. The last treasure hunting show that we watched was Buddy Daddies, and I really liked it. I had a thought as my day continued after having watched Buddy Daddies. I went to the gym as I said I would, and I lifted some weights, and then I went to the store and stuff, and got some steak and ate some meat for the first time in a little while. I'd had some fish a couple of times, like once every couple weeks, for a little bit, but I've been mostly eating vegetarianly, mostly eating plants and lots of them, and sort of experimenting. And so I wanted to do another experiment. I wanted to have some meat. So I bought a pretty good steak and I air fried it up, and it was delicious. And my stomach's a little weird today, like a little bit of a feeling of like, whoa, what was that, man? That was a lot. But it feels like I could get used to it pretty quickly. So I don't feel any direct and immediate negative effects from it. I also don't feel any direct and immediate positive effects from it. Which, if you pay attention to all of the ideologues on both sides and every side of any kind of dietary debate, you'd think that you eat an apple and suddenly your world is going to change. And it does not seem to be so, at least for my belly. And maybe that's just me being lucky and capable of handling various types of foods. Or maybe it has nothing to do with luck, and it's the microbiome that I've built up over the last couple of months via, careful selection of fermented foods and whatnot. Anyway, ate some steak. And I had a thought, and the thought was, do I like Buddy Daddies because it's a good show, or do I like Buddy Daddies because I am the exact target audience? As a 28-year-old male without children who has in the past questioned the value of pursuing, normative relationships, nuclear families, etc., and has my own set of desires to be a, how do I put this? A gallivanting young rapscallion for the rest of my days, Peter Pan style. Am I just the target audience for Buddy Daddies? Is it just trying to convince me that kids are cool? It might be just doing exactly that. It might be working. Fuck, they've got me. No, the traditionalists have got my brain. No. But a moment of self-awareness to realize that it's both. The answer is it's both, and I'll give you the answer to the question. It's both. It's that the show's pretty good, and that the idea and angle of the show is exactly lined up to hit me. I am the target audience. Just like if I were more of a hikikomori, I think my relation to and understanding of and viewpoint on onimai would be different, because I would be more in the target demographic, and it would be more effectively aimed at the sort of mental loops that I had been in when I was in that more in that sort of a state. Additionally, if I were still questioning my sexuality or gender identity, it would be a lot more interesting to watch something like Onimai. Maybe more horrifying, maybe less. I don't know. But I would certainly be more of the target audience for it. So it's a serious, important thing to bring to bear, and to try to remain self-aware of is this show meant for people like me? And insofar as it is or is not meant for people like me, how much does that change my viewpoint, my perspective on it? A great example would be Sugar Apple Fairy Tale, which I think is horrifying. It scares it's so freaky weird. All the things are real weird, and the designs don't do it for me, and the whole thing doesn't really do it for me. But if I were a young girl who with some shoujo tendencies and a completely different person, maybe I would be obsessed with that thing. Maybe I would think that it's the coolest, bestest thing ever. Maybe I'd be more upset by some of the things that are in the show. I don't fucking know. But it's a cool. It's so obvious to say, right? It's like, no shit, who you are changes your experience of the piece of media. But we don't bring it up or talk about it as much as we maybe should. The things that you like are somewhat determined by your tastes and preferences, but those tastes and preferences are largely determined by your situation, status, like literally your status, not your class status, your state of being. How you doing? You doing real sad? Maybe some lighthearted comedy is gonna land for you. Maybe some dark, deep, terrible shit is gonna land for you. You generally have your life in order. Maybe something like Buddy Daddies isn't going to work for you because you're going to look at these guys and be like, these guys are fucking, they're scumbags. Maybe the opposite. Maybe it'll speak to you in a more potent and different way. I don't know. It makes me wonder what's going to happen when we get to Kaiko Sareta Ankoku Heishi 30 Dai na no slow na second life. Chilling in my 30s after getting fired from the Demon King's army, which seems perfect. You gotta, let me just show you. It's perfect. And we'll sort of slow roll into what we're actually going to watch first. Because this is coming up. You got the waifu potential with the taters of doom. the mangoist memories, and also lots of cake and lots of drinks. Whoa, I have a sword and power, and like maybe mystery worthwhile, and lots of taters, and maybe some younger folks who are looking up to me, and a bad guy who's on fire and stuff. God, I cannot wait to see this shit. Oh my god, it's like they're so bolted on. Woo! I'm excited. I bet I'm gonna like it. I bet I'm gonna like it. It's gonna be dumb as shit, and I'm gonna recognize its dumb as shitness, and I'm not gonna be able to stop myself from somewhat liking it. However, that's speaking to a demographic of 30-year-olds who are getting fired. Well, yeah, a lot of work is losing its power. It's going to continue on that direction in a way predicted by the great prophetic text of our time, Technoroid Overmind. The sea levels will rise, humanity's population will decline, and everybody will be wearing heat suits all the time because it's way too hot to go outside, and everything will be taken over by androids. That's the future. That's the future that's coming, for sure. Definitely not going to go a different direction from that. We've definitely been able to figure out and predict what the future will be. You know, our supposition that there couldn't be a war in the 21st century was right on the money. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Oh, no. It's not what we thought at all. But we're not going to watch Kaiko Sareta Ankoku Heishi 30 Dai no slow na second life. Damn, something about that title tongue-ties me. We're going to watch Giant Beasts of Arse. Giant Arse Beasts! I'm so excited. It's another original. Okay. It's fully an original. It's coming out of Asahi Prod. The world of Arse, which is where there are giant beasts. That's a lot of main characters. It's 5. That's a lot. That might be too many. Who is directing? Oh my god! I've never seen this many producers in my life. That's a lot of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 producers. Whoa. Akira Oguro direction, storyboard, key animation, background art. Didn't write it. Norimitsu Kaiho script and series composition. Okay, so Kaiho-san, not Kohai-san, Kaiho-san, and then Oguro-san directing. Okay, Kaiho, what have you done recently? Whoa! Series composition on Kanata no Astra! I mean, I really liked that show. I even liked the writing of that show. Now, he didn't write the show. He series composited it, which is like transliteration. It's like you take the thing that already exists as a story and you write the screenplay for it, basically. Okay. Series composition on Akadawa Drive. Okay. Script on Danganronpa. And a bunch more Danganronpa. Gakko Gurashi, script, original creator, and series composition. A lot of people liked that. Some Guilty Crown stuff, and then a bunch of Guilty Gear Extra stuff. And a scenario writing for a visual novel. Okay. that's got some potential. This guy is capable of writing a thing sometimes, which is not necessarily what I expected. He's capable of writing a thing sometimes. We'll see if he wrote a thing this time. I don't know. Directing, Akira Ogudo. Key animation on Cyberpunk. Interesting. Key animation. Animation director on Joran. Key animation on BNA. That's another trigger credit. Key animation on Dynazenon. Another trigger credit. Key animation on an episode of Azoken. Key animation on X 1999. He's been hanging out with some really valuable crowds for a little while. Animation director on Golden Boy episode. He's been directing or key animating for 30 years. This is his directorial debut, really. Okay. Really a lot of key animation credits. Not a lot of direction credits. One immediately wonders why 30 plus years into a career, suddenly the individual takes an interest in directing, and there are all sorts of answers that could be the answers to that question, but it's unclear. The only important question really is the individual capable of the directing? Because it's one thing to batten down the hatches and raise the mainsails and pull all the ropes and tie everything down and feel like you understand how a ship works, and it's another thing entirely to captain a ship. They're different roles. Socially, physically with what you're actually doing, psychologically with the pressure that's on you. Can this person hack it? Will we be able to even tell from the first episode of Giant Beasts of Arse? Probably not. But I'm going to watch the fuck out of Giant Beasts of Arse and see if our Giant Arse beasts are any good. And if there's any Giant Arse in it. Because then that's going to make my life making jokes way, way easier. So I hope that there are some, like, Takarada Rika level thick grills. Because that will make the whole landscape of talking about Giant Beasts of Arse way, way easier for me. All right. Giant Beasts of Arse, Episode 1, Beep Timer. Flying manta rays. As you do. Red horses, as there are. Have you heard the legend of Arse? There's a big hole and dark things come out of... Okay, like Titans. Sorede. Is this just gonna be a scatter of weirdness? Alright, we got ballistae and big wooden walls that won't do anything. That did very little. Okay. So, need heroes. Let's go heroes. Interesting sword. Huh? Is she his sword? What? Okay, pretty classic 3-point landing scene, stand up in front of the monster scene, some cool visuals. Okay. Anthrovisia. Anthracite? Anthromale? Anthrohuman? Unclear. A paladin. That was crispy. This is crispy? It better be. It's the opening scene. It's here to sell us. Will that be the best animation in the entire series? Yikes. I mean, it's a fun run cycle. That's a character that'll sell people. I'll buy. Scruffy. Is this like freezing style? Every boy, every girl, paladin together, and then like Blade and meat? Nope, she's her own sort of fighter. Okay, maybe that's its own sort of thing. That's fun. Okay. There's a problem with all of these walk cycles is that they haven't animated like 3 frames back. And so each one starts with them like static. It's like the characters are static and then they move when the cut comes to them. It's a problem. That's Ava. It's Longinus Ava something something. CG. Not the characters. Good. All right. Pink-haired girl is really front and center. Ring thing is interesting. Yeah, a bunch of paladins with swords made a promise that they would stay and protect, and then they betrayed their vows because it was too much scary, and so they didn't do that anymore. And wait, that's Stormlight. No! Well, that's evocative. You step on the nature without even a thought. Humanity is... Also, they're very Nazi-y. Red bands, gray-green uniforms. It reads as a read. Patrol! Oh, shit. Y'all fucked up. He didn't apologize for stepping on a crab, but she apologized for knocking them out. Oh, she's just stealing food? Seriously? Excellent. Okay. She's an idiot and she's amazing. Awesome. Also, she's a prototype. A proto-paladin. Proto-paladin's weapon. There's some good mystery. Okay. Yep, priorities. You'll remember this as the day that you almost captured. Cute pink girl. Whee! Ho. Okay. Oh, I didn't... Oh, yeah. Is that branded? It's got some branding on it. They invented branding for it. Hi. Eesho. Hi. Are we going to use this as an opportunity for fan service? Serious question. Wet woman. No. Okay. We can continue. Bullet dodged. Bye. That looks fun too, even just using the little rocket things. It makes it work. It makes it work. Oh, they made a show. It feels like it's actually a show. So what is the technology level? We have engines, but we use ballistae? That's a more fun way of introducing differentiated technologies than we got in Revenger. Revenger was like, we're gonna tease you with the potential of technological innovation. And this is like, yeah, they're just using some boats. They got boats. It's what they got. Oh, Arse Ballistae. You gotta wonder. Why are you walking around with flowers at night? Holy! Ora. Is she gonna be good? She's gonna give most of it back. Coin sticks, eh? Again, this is just Starlight. This is just, hey. Hey. Oh, you're our friend now. Do you have a name? Okay, we're gonna get you some shoes. Ah, the good of the people. So they're like gas-powered? Yeah. Power maths. Maths power. Oh, what? Oh, there's a world map. That's cool. They drew it. They did a D&D. Oh, he's a bad guy. It. Classic. Ow. Oh, he's fully eating the crystals. I was joking. I was. Now I'll take this crystal and eat it. Those are the hearts of giant beasts or something? Something like that. Maybe they're the hearts of the little girls. You've been turned into a total killer. Background is nice. Walk cycle is fine. Background was nice. Lighting on all the plants, feeling of golden calm inside the home of Kumi. It's great. She's gonna totally die. If I'm writing this by the book, that character gets totally executed. Publicly. Ah, hello, character. It's a large number of boxes you have there, character. What the fuck are you? You know what? All right. I don't know what the fuck that was. Show. Ah, pieces of beastses. And the eye for talent. So hungry all the time. She's 02. Except, cute instead of being a sadist. The one who shows up? Oh, the same one keeps repeating. Oh. Davinia! Such nyas. Also, the translators did a good job of trying to incorporate that. Thank you for the exposition. I almost missed that you were here for that purpose. Ah, the Ring of Power. Oh. Have a call to adventure. Here. Oh, no, 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 no. You take up the burden. Well, that's correct, isn't it? Oh, and it sizes itself to you because of course it does. It's like Sting. It's the heroic mantle, right? Like it actually it's not just that it's your destiny, it's that you actively engaging with and choosing your destiny. Yeah. Yeah. That actually echoes archetypally and mythologically. What the fuck? Doesn't care about money. You got the promise ring of God. Oh, that's a lot of hunters. So they're all gonna get slaughterified. I'm just here to die or not. Oh. Shinizoku nai no Jiro da. That's great. Look at my face, bro. None of you get it. This guy's actually seen combat. Fucking, he's fully Kaladin. He's Kaladin. Who read Stormlight and thought I could do one of those? Oh, our conquest to unify Arse. And they've got the same symbology used as the foundations of their Your Majesty. Oh. Oh, expansionism, eh? Alright. Hey, it's a true paladin. As in a shiny, shiny, sparkly... Sparkly. And it keeps getting worse, like we're predicting a double event from the Kyojuu portal. Also, you have elf ears. You have elf ears. Big monster time! I haven't felt the need to make a single Beasts of Arse joke. Yummy. Also, this is fucking interesting. The true hero of the world just arrived on my doorstep. It's a hell of a party. And it was just out doing its thing, right? It was just chillaxing, eating gems from the earth. Are they gonna shoot at the people? Oh. Funeral paid for. Hey. You know what? Oh my god. Of course he's a beast. Of course that does nothing. Whee! Hey, that was a cut! Oh, he's out saving people. Ah, a true hero. Rips his arms right off. Whoosh. Bombs? Yeah. And not a wink of CG. Giant animal, not a wink of CG. That's noteworthy. Worth noting. What did you just feel? Or are you the connection? Are you the medium between the giant beasts of Arse and the world? Oh, hello, Mr. Fuckboy. Are they still hunting the girl? I'll I'll take it. Traditions, religious significance, a multi-layered world without explanations. Uh, you have now. Okay. Ho ho. You're gonna do what you want to anyway. Ho ho. Wow, they colored it like it's day for night. That's so weird. That's so weird. Oh, you want that. I wonder if he and the blonde are siblings. Yeah, what's the result of saying no? And we get our run-in of fate. You carry it. Do you carry a magic castle inside that? I'll bet you do. Hey! Nya nya! Alright, magic child. Magic child! Magic child, please help! Fucking magic child! Scene good. Scene good. Animation passable. What happens when she gets hit? Something weird? Got the music for it. She's seen this before. Whoa. You push her and problems ha. Noizucha? Doesn't want to hurt people. Awaken, awaken, boyo. He's holding on to that. He is a paladin, isn't he? But one without a partner. Partner. A dead partner. What? What? Why Titan appear? Priorities. That's not gonna. That did not work before. Okay. Reach out, grasp the girl. Into the drink we go. That works. Hi, let's bond or something. Wait, can we do a super transform? Oh, that's a short spear too. (20 past 02). Ah, priorities. Yeah, rad. It's like the game playing guy in No Game No Life, just like, the mystery will occur. I am a tiny child who knows everything. That's Gundam. That's Gundam. I know enough to know when I see a Gundam. That's a Gundam. People who don't know what I'm talking about are gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking about? But guy walking through space with planet next to it is a Gundam. That's a Gundam. Walk cycle shiny planet Gundam. There are so many things about this show that make me think of other pieces of media. And sometimes that's a problem. Sometimes that's like, they're just stealing a bunch of stuff. But it can also indicate a rich steeping, a rich soak in the zeitgeist, in the flow of things, and in a set of mythologies that is attempting to like make itself manifest. And I think that this show has a set of mythologies that it's attempting to make manifest. I'm shocked. I mean, will it hold up? We got a minute. Okay. We'll leave that because it is just going to be fully a preview, not an after credit scene. I'm stunned. I'm stunned. I have to go look at reviews. I have to. Because the thing is coming in with a 6.4, and that's nowhere near it, man. That's way incorrect. Again, obviously everybody's going to have their own perspective on the thing. Okay, so the first review is a joke all in the form of too many cat puns. And it runs through saying, like, every piece of this thing is exactly what you would expect. It's so familiar. Giants are furnishing the land of Arse. Humans are marking their territory where they don't belong. Princess Mononoke style, which is represented quite effectively by the stepping on the crab thing. Big giants using humans as chew toys. The gods have awoken. Humans have been granted some powers. And the main character fuses with a loli for the sake of going Super Saiyan. Okay. And then it runs through. Too many faux pas. Stock medieval towns. Mountains. Bland scenery. I don't think so. Bare minimum slideshow animation. Not yet. Not yet. I might agree with that if I had not gone through 12 shows or whatever and seen what animation looks like right now. Because this was not barely animated by any stretch of the imagination. There's quite a bit here. Okay. Interesting. Second one, halfway through. Giant Beasts of Arse is their first joke. Because it's the obvious joke. It's why I made the obvious joke as soon as we made it. It's the obvious joke. Fully on board into bored. Okay. A slow getaway. Okay. A mix of great writing and poor writing. Everything related to the grander plot and the forces behind it is remarkably well written. That difference is jarring, but it is what intrigued me and motivated me to continue watching. Interesting how people have responded to this. Really interesting. The execution isn't that great. The cast is diverse, but there's something missing. Every fight feels the same. The fights are uninspired and monotonous. Okay. So what's the show? What's the show about? It's about a fantasy world. But when we're talking about a fantasy world, we're talking about the real world in a realer sense than real. The fuck? What the fuck? What? Okay, we're in mythopoesis. We're in a space of inarticulate representations of things grabbed from previously established inarticulate representations of things, insofar as the things that are being represented resonate with reality. And so the authors, if they're doing it properly, ask some fundamental question, and then establish some pieces of a world that feel right, and then the characters and interactions and elements of the plot play themselves. It's what happens when you write a D&D campaign and you do it properly. You set up, okay, each of your characters has this background and story that establishes where they're at, and you've got a couple of moving pieces in the world, and as soon as you click enough bits of complexity together, the story writes itself. It becomes something manifest outside of you that you are no longer as in control of as you think you are. It's like you imagine, did J.R.R. Tolkien write The Lord of the Rings, or did The Lord of the Rings write itself? With him as a medium. As like a converter algorithm that intook history, mythology, linguistics, because that's what Tolkien was focused on and fascinated in. And from those generated reality that is so real that it has pervaded all of Western fantasy fiction since the moment that it was conceived. And pervaded it before it was conceived. The ideas that are present in Tolkien's Lord of the Rings are not novel. They existed before he wrote them. Okay. This show exists in a similar mythopoetic space where it's trying to, if it's doing it right, and it might not be, because you can parasitize this instinct that humans have toward figuring out the stories. We really like to figure out stories. We like to know what's going on in the stories. We like to try to understand why the characters act the way that they act in stories, and why is the world the way that it is. Usually, the world is in catastrophe, and we'd like to understand what forces are at play there. In this case, the gods and great monsters from the past are at play in the world. Thin. For now. But there are some elements, there's a little salty sprinkling that's like, ooh, there's some flavor there. What the heck is that? You get this moment where the giant boar beast is just consuming naturally, just wandering around, breaking apart mountainsides. And it's quite unclear whether it would just continue wandering on its own, doing its own natural thing, if it were not, if a conflict were not instigated by the human populace. Got some hints of some cool differentiated biology, and there's some questions based around the technology of the world, and there's some representations of prophetic space, so there's the ring of prophecy that is emblematic of that, as well as deific space, theological deific space, because there's this idea that there are gods in the past, and they have some kind of power to bring to bear. Probably that they can't bring to bear directly, and that's why they have to do the clerics paladins sort of mishmash thing that seems to be a Darling in the Franxx style. One boy, one girl makes the robot go vroom, which has reasons for it. There are reasons that Franxx is written that way. And there are reasons why in Franxx you've got this whole like traditionalist but withholding the information background story of all the elders of the community deciding to force the children into these unified single normative relationships where they fuck inside robots in order to fight unending hordes of monsters. It's like, yeah, that's right. That's correct. That is correct. Exactly right. So there's something to that here. And there's a reason that trope of like a male character and a female character bond together to become a greater weapon in order to face the manifestations of overall fundamental chaos. Like, yeah, that's correct. It's how we've done it for 3.5 billion years-ish. So maybe there's a reason that myth keeps coming up. So that's something. And then there are some cool layers here. We've got this obviously corrupt governing body in the empire. First off, it's an empire. Okay. The world has been in a state that's been ruled to some extent by one or another empire for thousands of years. Various empires have ruled. Currently, mostly two big empires are ruling, but there are a few others. American hegemony can be viewed as one big old empire, and it is. Chinese hegemony and that whole sector can be viewed as another. And then, regardless of the specifics, sort of unified but tyrannical imperial rule has been the state of being for humanity for a long time, and a lot of that is fairly often founded on imagistic representations of near religious potential, which we get represented when we see the throne room sequence. Yeah, they're literally standing on that same image of the future and the prophecy, with grand pillars standing aside the overblown winged throne. That's a good representation. They're standing on top of, but ignoring, the ideas of the past that should be the foundations of their society, but instead the foundations of their society are power. And we align this blonde character as a paladin who is standing on top of the proper foundations, right? The foundations of prophecy, this one unifying sun in the center, something, weird shit beneath, who cares? We'll find out more as we find out. I guess if I look at it, there are these masculine-ish, it's hard to tell, they're just blank characters, figures, humanoid. There's this spiraling mass of sort of tentacular monstrosity and fishiness, and all of that is swaying around and reaching up or standing below a great sun that stands above or rests above everything. Might actually be the moon, it's unclear. So there's like a mythotheological representation there, and the way that it's treated as we move forward is interesting. We have it pulled out as part of a sales pitch by the wise fool, which is the tiny child who makes cat puns, in order to sell this ring potentially to the main character. And that sequence is so it's right on. It's right on the accidental taking up of the burden of heroism, of prophecy, of divinely inspired, manifested human potential is the idea there. It's like, you exist in an inarticulate, unmanifested state. You wander around and have a chance encounter with someone who has a little bit of knowledge but no desire to follow it through. And that chance encounter somehow leads to you accidentally taking up the mantle of responsibility, and now you're fucked. Now you're fucked because you've made some kind of an oath. You've made some kind of a promise. I did this a couple months ago. I did it without thought, and with thought, correctly and foolishly. And I took up this pair of scissors and I squared myself, and I made an oath. I made an oath. Essentially, the oath that I took was, I swear that I will try. Basically. And I have suffered immediate repercussions for having done so. Immediate repercussions. Instantly, all of the ways in which I failed to do so are revealed to me. Bam! And they're revealed not as like, oh, it would probably be nice if I got my sleep schedule in order. It's like, no, you're fucked. You're fucked. Enjoy an injury, demonstrate your own arrogance to yourself, and hurt yourself. Harm your psychology with drug use and addiction. Bam, have that. That's real fun. Your laziness is creeping in on the edges and it's hurting you. Bam, have that. That's real fun. Just like wall. As soon as I oriented toward a goal, everything in my life that I was doing wrong to get there manifested in the most painful and monstrous way possible. And that's what happens when you take up the call. There's a line at the end of Hello Ren by Ren. Hi Ren, sorry. Not Hello Ren. not going to play this, but this is Hi Ren. You should go watch this song video thing. It's potent. At the end of it, however, Ren says this.
When I was 17 years old, I shouted out into an empty room, into a blank canvas, that I would defeat the forces of evil. And for the next 10 years of my life, I suffered the consequences.
Careful what you ask for.
With autoimmunity, illness,
right,
and psychosis.
Mm-hmm.
As I got older, I realized there were no real winners and there were no real losers in psychological warfare. But there were victims and there were students. It wasn't David versus Goliath. It was a pendulum, eternally swaying from the dark to the light. And the more intensely that the light shone, the darker the shadow it cast. It was never really a battle for me to win. It was an eternal dance. And like a dance, the more rigid I became, the harder it got. The more I cursed my clumsy footsteps, the more I struggled. So I got older, and I learned to relax. And I learned to soften, and that dance got easier. It is this eternal dance that separates human beings from angels, from demons, from gods. And I must not forget, we must not forget, that we are human beings.
That, and the song that it's attached to, reached out and pulled at the heartstrings of 8+ million people and continues to reach more every day. That's pretty interesting. What if it's true? What if it's truer than true? This is a cup. That's true in a base level. Cups can be used to drink things is true for me and true for you and true for every cup. That's more true than true. There is the best cup. There is the ideal of cup. And that's something that's separated out from the physical conception, individuated reality of cup, or the idea that cups are useful for certain things. It's the idea of the best possible cup. The most perfect possible hero. And that's what we try to represent over and over and over through our stories. What's a hero? A hero is a person who's able to stand against the struggles of reality, something like that. A hero is somebody you'd... A hero is somebody you want around and you want to be. A hero is an idea of the kind of person who, in the face of a world dominated by torment and despair, and sadness, loneliness, dejectedness, failure, a hero is a person who stands in the right way against that. And it makes a difference. And somehow that's useful. How are heroes born? How are heroes made? Where do they come from? Shiny swords? Sort of. Standing up against the monster? Yes. Standing up against the monster even when you haven't been promised pay yet. Somebody's gotta help them. Oh, wait, we haven't been paid yet. Already off. I humbly offer this body and soul of mine to you. Anthrovincia! Maybe that's a goddess, and then she's a representative of the goddess. So it's like, this woman is just a woman, but insofar as that is true, she is an aspect of, like, a divine feminine force. Something like that. And insofar as the male heroic character stands up against villainy and evil, in a self-sacrificing mode that awakens the divine aspects of the feminine entity. That's closer. That's closer to it. There's some thought put into this shit. This is not nothing. This is interesting. It could all go to shit in one episode, right? This could all be going nowhere. It could all be absolute balls. Goes nowhere, is useless, never represents anything interesting beyond the scattered pieces, right? I'm bringing it back to what I said before. When you write a D&D campaign and it writes itself, it's far more common for you to write up the pieces of a D&D campaign and then shuffle around doing nothing for a little while because you're too scared to upset the perfectly established balance of your world, right? You have to be really cruel to write an effective story because the universe is really cruel and chaotic and driven by entropy and disastrous. And it's in the face of those cruelties that heroes are capable of rising. So it's common, relatively common, to write out the right foundations for the story, because all that takes is the ability to observe. You need the ability to observe, you need the ability to incorporate and comprehend existing stories, and then you establish what is the state of realer than real reality. What is the state of the dreamscape mythological ideal? And then you just write that. It takes a lot of balls to play in that space. I don't have those balls yet. I had an idea the other day, which was maybe I'm supposed to eventually. Maybe that's what I'm doing eventually. I don't know. I was thinking along the lines of like, what makes it all worth it? What makes it all worth it? And I've proposed repeatedly over the past couple of weeks that even if you can't see the goal, even if you can't comprehend the manner in which your current actions might be worthwhile in the future, it can be very valuable and useful to suppose axiomatically that they might be useful in the future, and you just might not know how, might not know why. So then I had this idea that was like, well, what if I'm gonna write a great novel when I'm 50? It would be really helpful to have 1,000 novels in your brain and like 2,000 TV shows that are crap and that are great and that are the whole span of things. It's like, oh, maybe I could view what I'm doing to some extent as establishing a comprehension of the extant theories of being that we've represented as stories for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years. It'd be nice to have a bit of grounding, feet on mythology, if you will, in that scape. If I were to try to write a mythology and, well, whether I try to write it as a written thing or a thing to share with others, I am going to be writing a mythological story of my own life, and so are you. And I think I'd like to be a hero in that story. That would be pretty good, because again, a hero is somebody that you want around and somebody that you'd like to be and somebody who's capable of standing against the torment and torture and despair and chaos that is the natural state of reality, it seems. So it might be useful to have some heroes in my brain. And regardless of whether I undertake this sort of noble vision of maybe I'll write a story that will change other people's lives, it's like, okay, well, how about you write a story that is your own life that changes your own life so that you're not where's our boy? Where's your boy? Because he's exactly the thing. This guy. Despair-ridden, scruffy-chinned, drunkard not giving a fuck, who has the power and potential to stand up against great monsters and save people, but rarely does so because he questions the point of doing so, because he's been battered so much by situation. Essentially, there was somebody that he loved and it got taken away from him. That seems to be the story that we've got here. There was this woman, and he made a bond with her, and she gone. Ripperoni. Okay. Well, that's the alternative, right? Is to waste away and lose yourself. So that's one of the multi-headed Hydra manifestations of entropy and chaos itself. those things don't manifest in our lives as frequently as giant monsters that wander the earth. They used to. There used to be giant monsters that roamed the earth. Mammoths, saber-toothed tigers, big things that eat you. There used to be plenty of those. And snakes, and big snakes, and crocodiles, and dragons. Dragons, right? Yes. Big monsters, kaiju. Those used to be a thing, but that's not how the forces of evil, as Ren says that he will fight them. That's not how those manifest most of the time. You want a giant beast that's attacking the walls of civilization? Try obesity. Try heart disease. Try cancer. Try depression. Try addiction. Those things can be very well ideated as giant beasts that we have to fight. Big dragons out in the world, very real, realer than real to you, real to me, real to your mom, real to your dad, real to everybody. You know, everybody fights to some extent the beast of insulin resistance. And if you don't fight it in the proper way, it consumes you and you become consumed by it. Plenty of beasts. Alcoholism, beast. Addiction in general, beast. Monster. And it's no small thing, or no joke, that those beasts are attacking the Empire as well. And it seems like the Empire is doing less well at holding the fort, if you will. Maybe because it's structured. Maybe the nature of its structure reveals more beastliness. Maybe because it's corrupt. That seems to be the implication here. That's a good implication. That's just Ava. Come on. Come on. Come on. It's just an Ava, and I don't mind. There's a cool spaceship. What the fuck is that? I don't know yet. And there's a ring. The promise that started it all. The promise ring of power. 30 years later, you step on a little octocrab. First of all, there's a bunch of creative biology. I sort of, flying manta rays is pretty common. It's like, okay, they're flying manta rays. Or, you get dogs with horns on them, and you're like, okay, they're dogs with horns on them. It's the same fucking thing. Octopus crab muscle? That's kind of novel. Character stepping on innocent piece of life because they don't give a shit and they're a member of the Nazis? Sorry, I am joking about the Nazi thing for the most part. They're just totalitarian, tyrannical oppressors. Crunch. Because that thing's pretty cute, and they step on it. And so that's like stepping on you. Get stepped on, motherfucker. It's a big box. It actually helps that it's a sort of mediocre digital texture for the bricks and stuff, because it makes it stand out. It's like humanity looks like shit compared to all the nature around. Look at all this cool nature and stuff. Isn't that cool? And that fits into the sort of Princess Mononoke, Iron Town sort of vibe that we've got going here. Gas lamps, clearly from whale blubber, we think we find from before. A bunch of the lights are out. It seems like every other is out, so probably just to save fuel. There are some elements that have been thought through here. There are also some elements that have not been thought through. But off the top of my head, I can't immediately think of one. Is there a big plot hole yet? Is there anything that really stands in my way of enjoying this show in a narrative framing sort of mode? Is there anything that strikes me or stands out as like, oh, the mythology there is incorrect. They got it wrong. No, not yet. I don't think so. I think this is a solid reveal for our main character. First off, it's also more reveal about the state of being as a member of the police military body of this authoritarian nation. Is like, it's not great. You've got tyranny and corruption on every level from middle management all the way up. which is about the state of existence if you're a grunt in any organization, is that you feel like you're just continuously tyrannized. But at least you have it better than the person who is an experiment and is inside this room. This is a great introduction for the character. It gets her face to face with the camera immediately, and so we get instant determinatorness, right? Straight to the eyes, running straight forward, had a plan, thought it through, is strong, did the thing, bam wham, get a little animation cut that doesn't really matter. But then there's this simultaneous thing, which is that as she runs by, she does this little like, which is cuter and more feminine. And then she hits them with, sorry, right? Okay, so it's the opposite of what we just saw from the soldier who steps on the crabtopus and doesn't give a fuck. Literally doesn't notice, right? She even cares about the underlings that she's harming. So there's this layered empathy matched with heroism and the desire to free self thing. Whole system goes into panic because she's free. She's free. Oh God, everybody after her. And her purpose, her reason is to get the noms, is to get the snacks. And so we just layer in a reason to care about this character. Why does that work? Why does it work? This sort of like goofy, self-serving need for food cuteness fucking works. I don't have an answer for you, but it does do the thing for me. Heroic element plus likable element, done and done. Hello. It's the headphone itself, not the cable. Okay, that's annoying. It ends up being very likable. I don't know. It serves to let us within 30 seconds or something, introduce a childish, protectable aspect and a heroic, forward-facing determinator aspect of the same character. It's really fast. It's really nice. I like it. Oishii! And we do the same thing face to camera again. And we immediately follow that up with badassery. She runs up the stairs like a badass. Bam. They all splat into it. Semi-humorous, but not too goofy. And reveals some story elements. The prototype has escaped. You will always remember this as the day that you almost caught Captain Cute Girl. Later, bye, peace. And away she goes to freedom and away. Okay. Ya boy, he chillin'. His life kind of fucking sucks. He's 4 bottles deep into his cups. That's a lot of bottles. I've managed to oscillate my relationship with alcohol down to a more reasonable space. It got not great for like a week. I was drinking a bit much. I managed to pull away from that. Man, it pulls you in. It's got a gravity to it. If you don't have something else with an equal or greater gravity to dedicate yourself to, you'll just be pulled by the things that pull. And you will cease to have much choice in the matter. But that's not terribly relevant. This is just a good depiction of a sad boy character, right? We find out later why he might be sad as thus. This is our first meeting between the characters, and they know it. It's why we add in the very effective single layer of white moonlight edge lighting, changing the line art on the side of the characters that's facing toward the moon, to add this ethereal quality to this initial meeting. And it's right on the money. You want this moment to feel special. It wants to evoke something special in you. You're like, ooh, what's going on between these characters? There might be something going on here. And there is. So it lines up. It conveys what it's trying to convey. It does what it's trying to do. Hold on, I need to order a replacement headphone cable. So I just switched the headphones to figure out if it was the cable or the earbud itself. And it's not the earbud, which is nice. It's the cable. So give me a sec. Done. Gureto. So the scene stands out as it should. We don't use it. It's an original anime. We don't use this as an opportunity to sexualize the main female lead. I'm glad. It's not like the most life-changing thing in the world, you know? It's not like dramatically changes my opinion of the show, but it is freaking nice. I'm more interested in the character as a character than as like a sex object, so I appreciate it. We do this setup that feels like the moment where a character goes, "Oh, I've never seen anything like that." He doesn't give a shit, just tells them where she went, doesn't care. Weird. Wonder why they're searching so much. And he's out of the socket. Damn. We get his resentful nature, and we get her pleasant nature. She runs into a human who will become her namesake, and doesn't understand money, is overly generous, and that spirit of generosity is reciprocated by this character, demonstrating insofar as it can by one interaction with a human that there's something worthwhile about humans. It's kind of what the scene says, is something along the lines of the average workaday human has the spirit of generous reciprocity within their heart, and that's a good reason to want to protect humans at large, despite all the pain and torment that you've suffered at the hands of humans at large. It's a pretty good argument. Has the opportunity to take advantage of her and take all the money, does not do so. Goes above and beyond that and gives, seemingly without pay, gives a set of clothes to her, and unknowingly protects and saves her from the searching tyranny. Oh, scenes of dudes running around the streets, these are pretty good. These are pretty good. It's, again, this speaks to the comment, the review that we had a little bit earlier that was like, it's pretty minimally animated. It's like as basic budget, low budget sliding stuff as you can get, and that's not true. That's not true. You can do this scene with way less work, way less effort, and I've seen this scene with way less effort, and so have you. All you need are sliding characters moving up and down and shuffling noises. Put that up against the wall, do it from 3 different angles, and you're done. They didn't do that. They animated full character bodies running. That's not nothing. That's effort, work, and difficulty. Okay, so he's drawing over... No, he's just drawing it darker. Okay. He's drawing a graph. Yeah, we don't know what that's supposed to be. I don't know. There's a cool map thing. Looks like he's into the human skull thing. Phrenology. Measuring bumps in the skull to predict mental traits. And it doesn't work. Mostly. Elements of old science there. Obscure his face with foreground objects. Make him distant from the characters. He's studying the beasts and the monsters and stuff, but he's also become a monster himself. Well, he's eating the gems, right? He's eating the gem hearts. It's just Stormlight. It's the same damn story. Tell me that there are 8 swords in a circle. Tell me. What the fuck? It's just Anyway, he's eating gem hearts. So he's like sustaining himself on beast meth. We keep seeking her and we can't. And he's an oppressive, monstrous tyrant. I order you to devote all resources. Be rough with it if you need to. Classic. Just dehumanize. I expect results. And it's unclear whether dude in the corner is currently standing in the corner or whether these 2 guys can see that person. It's just unclear. This, however, is clear as day. You cut to the first real facial reveal of this character, and he's like, my evil plans. Okay, man. All right, bro. I get it. You're the bad guy. I got it. Oh, my monster math. Candy. Oh. He's just obsessed with rock candy. It's actually just sugar crystals and he doesn't know. It's just the strongest addiction that anyone could have. I wonder how many... I love this background. I actually love this background. I think it's gorgeous. I think this is gorgeous. This looks like it's out of a different show. This is gorgeous. This looks great. You still frame this frame and you sell the show off that. Seriously. It looks great. This is the setup. It's a dam. It's a walled city that is kind of a dam. It's a cool depiction of this walled city. You know what it's not? You know what it's not? It's not a circle city with a river running through it and big walls all around and it's not Attack on Titan, the city. It's not every isekai city, the city. It's a little different. A little bit different. I appreciate the little differences. It's all we might get. It's all. If every story has already been written, then maybe it's the little differences that really matter. I do have a question about the mechanics of this world. The literal physical mechanics, which is, what happens when it rains? Because everybody seems to have flat roofs, and a lot of those roofs have borders around the flat roofs. And that seems less than ideal during a rainy season. Which you would think that the Japanese might know, given that they have rainy seasons. I would be understanding if Hollywood filmmakers, where we don't get fucking rain, he says, as it's actually raining today, we don't get rain, so you might draw all your buildings with they've got flat roofs with indentations and everything will be fine. We won't have a mosquito problem at all. But this seems like a recipe for standing water on people's roofs all the time and mosquitoes. Talk about giant beasts. How about malaria? That's a big beast. It's a big beastie. A lively and thriving marketplace. And we show some weird things like red bananas and white apples. All right, so at this point we get it's a little thinner on the biology side of things. It's we're in a totally different world with completely different biological representations, and everything's completely different, except apples are the same, just a different color, and bananas are also the same, just a different color, and horses are just the same, except they're red. Okay, alright, sure. Okay, fair enough. Cute character's cute. Doesn't notice him, basically at all. Well, maybe does. Immediately has this sense, is are you a giant beast hunter? And he knows that is exactly correct. So this character is beginning to play with people's fates already. I'm gonna guess that this child is a 400-year-old demon or something, right? Or a cast-out god, something like that. Yeah. Whatever. There's too much knowledge for a tiny body, and so there's mystery there. His eyes looked so lifeless. Yeah. Main character eats everything. Gems. We see character through the gem, so it's there's a layered representing thing there. Gladion is the one who shows up around these parts. So they repeatedly show up. You fight off the enemy and more comes. Another is born in its place. Something like that. It'll go terribly bad, but on the plus side, a bunch of great stuff comes out of them, because we get gems and oil from their carcasses. There is value to fighting and overcoming the monsters. Mostly make a living off of giant monster parts, and we have to note this. This character slips into the exposition mode smoothly. To me, this feels smooth. Exposition is a bit of a monster that has to be slain by any sort of storyteller. You have to figure out a way to reveal the nature of this world, the parts of this world that everybody would already understand. That would be so fundamental to reality that you'd be like, well, no shit. You walk through a market and nobody pulls you aside and goes, Shonen, young man, let me tell you, there are these magical things called trees, and they make the fruit, and humans for generations have gone out and battled gravity to climb up the trees and pull fruits off of the trees. It's a noble calling, and you should buy some. Nobody fucking does that, because you already know where fruit comes from. Everybody knows where fruit comes from. You're just here to buy the fruit. So nobody pulls you aside and does the exposition to you. And if they did, you'd freak the fuck out, call the police, pull your pepper spray, and be like, what the fuck? Just go away. I already know. I don't care. You have to sort of ask for exposition, usually. So, what do you do when you have a character that doesn't even know enough to know what she doesn't know? You have her be open-eyed, wide-eyed, and interested, and you insert a character that can present the state of the world to the audience. And having a main character who has no idea what's actually going on so that she can ask the dumb questions that everybody else already knows the answers to, right? Every single person in this market already knows the answers to all these questions. Fighting giant beasts is a fundamental part of the background of their existence. They know exactly what's going on. Beast hunters exist and is a profession that people undertake and do so with the intent to die, mostly. They expect to not go well. But our main character doesn't know any of that, and we don't know any of that, and it's really important for us to learn those things before we get into the actual game. The thing actually starts to play itself out. So it's really helpful to have a dumbass main character who doesn't know anything and can ask the stupid questions, because they're not stupid questions. Except the Empire has dibs on all the best stuff. So, corruption. Levistones from Airmanta. Okay, so that's how the ship that we have flies, I'm sure, because Levistones. And the rubber fins from ox whales. I don't know what those are used for, but they're rubber. And I guess oil. Also, buy some stuff. Okay, I want the ring. Oh, you have a good eye. Got an eye for quality. This is the Ring of Promise. I sell 300 of them every day. They're my most popular item. Whips the big book out. Bam! Dust everywhere. This idea that by asking the question, ooh, what's that? You've tapped into something deeper than you understand. Literally, if we want to step out of it and pretend that this is intentional, and it might be, because the subconscious writes weird things. I've been figuring that out as I draw things every day. Subconscious writes weird things. That's a guitar that's also a wine glass. Why, brain? Why? Yesterday I drew a face that was just like a psychedelic horror show with fangs, and it sat there and scared the shit out of me most of the day. Today I drew a wine glass that's also guitar. Why? I don't know. I cannot tell you. I did not set out to do so. That was not my goal in the beginning. It flowed from me. The story wrote itself. The drawing drew itself. But if we suppose that there might be something going on when you write a story, if you're writing in the right mode, if you're thinking in the right way, what would we suppose about this scene? Asking a question opens up history to you. Embodying curiosity and a willingness to be wrong reveals to you the potential for great things from the past. Something like that. All right, big book. Cool representation. Very inarticulate, right? In this version, you really can't tell what the creatures are that are in it, or what the humanoid characters, like I can barely tell just because I've seen the other version and really stared at it, that those are humanoids standing around in a circle, and that all reaches up towards something transcendent. But there's this representation of a mythological narrative that we don't understand, and it's in this torn, destroyed text. Covered in dust. Whoever wears that ring is sworn to become the savior of Arse and rescue our world from certain doom. This is the hero's destiny. So all you have to do is wear it and everyone will be saved? It's got 7. 8? 8. 8 little holes in it. It's just Stormlight. It's just Stormlight. It's the same damn story. It's the same damn story. Tell me that there are 8 swords in a circle. 8 slots for 8 swords. It's Stormlight again. Oh, God, no. No, stop being Stormlight. Don't be silly. There's only one person in the world who can actually fulfill the promise. And it's also a cursed ring because it will eventually drain the life of whomever that is. Well, that's right. Ah, what a terrible curse. Your meaningless life would be granted transcendent, universal, ultimate meaning, the most meaning, but it'll kill you. Easiest bargain of your life. Easiest bargain of your life. Why? Because you're gonna die anyway. And what you have isn't yours anyway. This life you lead, it's not really yours. If it was, you'd be in control of it. And you're not. You think you are, but you're not. Insofar as you sacrifice it and are willing to give it up for something worthwhile, you become in control of it. But you also die for that. First opening scene, the paladin runs out and goes, "My body and soul, I give them up willingly to you." There's a framework here. There's an idea here. Beware the cursed ring, the ring of promise that promises that you will do the heroic thing, even though that will kill you. And as the harbinger is explaining how dangerous this thing is and all the downsides of it, she does what every youth does, which is take up the mantle early anyway. Scream out like Ren to the room and say, "I will defeat the forces of evil." Pick up the scissor blade like me and say, "I will try." Right. Oops. Too late now. It's perfectly right on the money. And there's something, it says something, the call to adventure happens, and the negative side of the call to adventure, the sacrifices, the failures, the all of those things, those happen anyway. The great monsters rage anyway. The death and despair happens anyway. Your life drains itself away anyway. You don't get to choose whether you suffer, but you can choose to make it worthwhile. Put on the ring. And the ring shapes itself to her. And that implies, well, it implies doubly. It implies doubly. It implies that perhaps the ring has reacted to her because she is somehow unique. But if it were so, the ring would already be her size, right? Because it would be destiny. It would be this destiny idea. The ring would already be your size. Your hand would already fit the blade, right? You'd be the only one who could pull the sword from the stone, right? Like that's it would be perfectly matched to you. The glass slipper would fit you. It would fit Cinderella. It would be the right size. But it's not made for her. It's made for anyone who's capable of taking up the mantle of heroism. And she embodies that, and so it shapes itself to her. Wow, 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 wow. Bam. And a covenant is made. Bam. Without your willingness, really. Oops. Oops. You accidentally took up the burden of the fate of reality. Oh shit. What if it's as soon as you know that there are giant monsters to fight, the burden of reality is yours? As soon as you wake up. You know, she's out here, she wanders around the town, she's eating as much as she wants. She meets a nice person. Everything seems hunky-dory. Just wandering around. No idea what's going on in the real world. No idea what's going on outside of her little walled city. Or even in the walled city. She's experienced oppression and separation from everybody. She's been in a cell for presumably forever. Siddhartha Gautama walks outside of the carefully constructed walled garden that his father has presented him with. And to him is revealed the actual state of mankind and the suffering inherent in existence. And suddenly he's awake. Suddenly he has to be awake and has to manage his relationship with that suffering stuff, because it seems to be permanent. This character gets told there are giant beasts, they rage, they'll destroy the city. Also, there's the potential to be oh, you're a hero now. Okay. All right then, I guess you've made the promise. Perfect. It's really interesting. What, am I gonna be cursed? But I like it, it's really pretty. Ma, just a legend. But she believes now. How goes our conquest to unify Arse, we ask you, paladin, leader of our warriors? All the pillars standing around. She stands in the center as a representative of the mythology, at odds with the tyrannical authority that's clearly not a good thing at the present. More giant beasts on the rise. Don't split up our forces. And then it seems like our council of advisors is directly on path with, like, we have to destroy the outsider barbarians and grow our hegemonic authority. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. I wonder if they're corrupted by something. Certainly there's an element to them, which is that they wear masks. Makes them feel like, there's a grand lineage of masked tyrants, masked authoritarian groups. It's woven into multiple mythologies. You get like the masked lords of Waterdeep in the D&D in Faerun. And you get the hidden characters of Seal in Evangelion. And then following down on that same legacy, you get the hidden characters, the masked rulers of, again, Darling and the Franks. There's an idea to it. And I think part of the idea to it, which is a pretty good idea, is that if the people can't see who rules them, there's a problem, because nobody has any responsibility for their actions as members of the ruling council. Kind of need them to be out in the open. There's a cowardice inherent in wearing a mask and then telling others what to do from behind anonymity. No, the giant beasts also harm the barbarians in their savage lands. And so I think that the argument that's here is, like, everybody's being hurt equally by these giant beasts, so we shouldn't focus on the giant beasts. We should be using our forces to overwhelm and take over more land. It's not an excuse. Then shouldn't we strike while they're weak? I guess so, if that's what you're into. And we get the crazed eyes behind the mask. I'm fascinated to know who this character is. And where this zealous, expansionist mentality comes from. You know, are there layers to it? How will it be represented to us? Is it just that this character is mustache-twirlingly evil because they're evil and power-hungry? Or do they have some internal gymnastic justification set up for that? Same with the blonde guy. It's like, is he just a tyrannical monster who wants to be addicted to to gem sugar and be evil to our cute main character because he can't stand cuteness and hates all... He's just the Grinch and he hates all good things? Or is there some, like, layered writing behind him for maybe represent that the character has some stuff wrong with him, or is dedicated toward authority in some way that was twisted at a young age, or whatever you end up writing in? Is there more than one layer to the thing? And maybe, I don't know. Introduce sad paladin lady. She wishes that her society were better, but she doesn't know how to act within it in order to make that true. Even in framing and general look, we managed to establish that pretty well. She walks down pathways that are walled by pillars, walled by authority and structure, right? Tiny Elfier's girl, I assume, is her, like, weapon manifested thing. Also has little demon horn things that might be a hair element, but they also might be demon horns. I don't know. They don't understand. Big monster beast. Okay. He's a cutie. That's a cute beastie with the cool little horn drill things. This is a great Pokemon. It's a great Pokemon. And it seems to be just out here doing its thing, which is destroying mountainsides and consuming magic crystals. I don't understand at all. I don't need to, apparently. It likes to eat the magic crystals. That's what it does. It doesn't seem to be actively... It's not like the Titans, right? So the Titans in Attack on Titan are totally monstrous and seem to our characters only driven toward the purpose of defeating, destroying, tearing apart humanity. That's sort of what we get as an implication in the first scene with the first big kaiju monster thing, is it's like, it's just marching toward humanity, and this is like an endless threat that comes at us. And will keep coming at us and is purpose-driven to destroy all of us. And then this big boar is like, I'm a boar and I eat mountains. It's what I do. That's what I do. Hey, you got any mountains? Any mountains behind this wall? No mountains? Shit! Seems like just a nice boy who wants to eat stuff and happens to be gigantic. So, is it just natural disasters? Is it pure chaos? Is it a chaotic force bent on the destruction of humanity in some ways? I don't know. But it seems like we instigate this fight. Bing bong, bing, bing bong, bang, bong, bing, bing bong. Come on, monster. They've screwed up the positioning of things, so they can't even shoot the arrows at them because these guys are stuck in the way. This cut's pretty good. Pow! Get thwackety, thwackety, thwong, 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 and just break a leg. Every bone in your fucking body, boyo. But gives us a perfect reveal for our main character to do this thing. Hey, don't, man. You're gonna... Whoa! He can run down the wall! This is a cool shot. It's Attack on Titan. Minus Wit Studios' capacity for 3D, 2D integration. But it works. They sell it. I think it sells fine. I think the scene feels good. Of course, it does little to nothing, but it's a nice little distraction. And then this scene also works. Run, run, run. Camera moves across. Shading on the pig cow changes as we move. Runs over, grabs your boy, out of here, gone. Huda! And that's pretty fun. I do think this would just full rip your arm right off. Wee! Oh, it does have a stirrup. I'm wrong. Okay. Good. Yeah, no, that's way more capable of transferring forces upward through the foot infrastructure than through the arm being ripped off infrastructure. If you want to figure this out, just go hang from one arm off a bar. It's hard. It's hard. If you can hang from one arm off of a bar for like 30 seconds, you're doing well in grip strength and also just general ability to hold your shit together. It's not trivial. So you imagine that you go from 0 to any velocity while holding another human's weight in one arm, all of that locked into the other arm, and your arm just gets ripped right off. But they thought of that, and they put a little stirrup there, so that you could just put your foot in the thing, and it would work. I'm happy. It pleases me. That's an interesting... So we step outside and talk about the meta. It pleases me that a thing that I thought might have been a flaw with the thing is not, in fact, a flaw in the thing, and is, in fact, evidence that the people writing and creating the thing thought about the same thing that I thought about. It makes me feel closer to the artist's authors, because they had the same thought to some extent. They were like, how would we make this manifest in a way that would make sense and wouldn't be jarring to the viewer? Now, maybe half the viewers would watch that scene and go, wow, he pulled up by the rope. That's so cool. And maybe half of them would go, oh, yeah, but his arm, though. And maybe most of them will see the stirrup in their first viewing and go, oh, that'll work. And just puts it at ease. All right. It's a fun, fine 2D explosion. We warp between our two characters with increased speed back and forth. Oh, how very interesting. This boy is very interesting. They do like a prayer thing over their food meats. And it's they all have animal ears, right? So they're a different they're beast people, whatever. But there's evidence of a religious tradition or a tradition over the thing. That's interesting. Bro, you saved my life. And we go down. I guess it's because the flames are blue. So I mentioned it when it happened. It was like, wow, they shot this as though it's day for night. So in filmmaking with film cameras, even digital cameras, it's, I don't know if it's still as common. It used to be quite common and quite obvious, especially if you think like Hallmark movies or TV series and stuff. You're going to shoot darkness. There's a problem. You're shooting characters at night in the forest or whatever. There's a problem with that. The problem is cameras need light in order to function. You can't So do your eyes, but our eyes are incredibly good at adjusting to darkness, even though we have pretty mediocre dark vision as far as animals are concerned. We're still amazing. And you get all this post-processing done by your brain that is like, no, the colors of everything still exist as they are. I'm just seeing them all tinged in one color. And that's part of why you can get weird phenomena that occur when you look at a space and you light it all with one color of lighting, and then you light it all with a different color of lighting, and objects look completely different because they're completely different. And your brain is doing weird processing in the background to try to make everything feel like it's still the same reality. Because it's not obvious that a room that's completely lit with only blue light and a room that's completely lit with only red light are the same reality. It's not obvious at all. Different things shine differently. Everything looks different. And yet your brain goes, that's the same object with different light on it. There are a lot of layers of interpretation that have to happen for you to see like blue cup with brown on the outside. And then if I were to switch the light color in this room to be only lit with like red light, the whole thing would look black. And it takes some internal gymnastics to make that appear like it's still the same object or still the same reality. Anyway, a common phenomena, common process is, well, you just shoot the scenes in the daytime in the forest. You know, you got your vampire and werewolf are fighting and rawr. You shoot that in the daytime, and then you just color grade it until it looks kind of darknessy. And what you end up with is a lot of blue. I don't actually know the mechanics of why you end up exactly with a lot of blue, but you end up with a lot of blue. And this kind of looks like that, and so it's like, wow, they kind of tried to make it look like day for night. But I guess it's just because the candle is blue, so they're using blue light everywhere, and so it's blue. All right, fair enough. So he shows up. Excuse me, sir, may I sit down? It's an overture of politeness, but it's backed by fucking authority. Right? Okay. So there's something there. Yada yada, these ruffians need to learn their place. This is how you start a conversation with a person who's been fighting alongside these people. Is like, oh gosh, these people suck. Alright. Don't you agree? And then bully them into agreeing with you. And he has none of it. What the fuck do you want? You were pretty good out there in the fighting. It made me think of a pal, and he holds up this thing that we don't know what it is. I assume it's meant to be a temptation for him, but I don't know. Really can't tell what it is. Maybe a fruit or something. The true enemies of humanity are not the giant beasts. A war that will split ours into two factions is coming, and we'd like you to be on the right side of that. Buddy, our side. Right. We are going to need fine fighters such as yourself. You've got the wrong guy. I'm out of here. I suppose that's a no then, and takes the no in stride, it seems. For now. Feels like a shoe-in dramatic sequence made for interacting, our first interaction between these two characters, and setting up a dynamic between them of the semi-rebellious ruffian doesn't really want to deal with the trappings of tyrannical authority, doesn't care about you. That's not what gets him going in the morning, right? What gets him going is kawaii! The cuteness will do it, and that's it. All right, where are you gonna sleep? Okay, come crash with me. And I question where this traveling merchant crashes. Suddenly, authority is here. Uh-oh. All right. This scene. They're running down the thing. It's like an animated. It's like it's animated. Arrows. Monsters. Out of nowhere. Unclear why. Crystal unclear why. Totally not related to her being stabbed, I think. Unknown. Arrows, darkness. No, please, stay back. Please don't. Really cool animation on this. It's like she's speaking to the wisps of darkness themselves. And without control, wisps out and turns a couple of people to ash, Senkizesho Symphogear noise style. Okay, yeah, whoa, our main character has some uncontrolled power. seems kind of dangerous. Starts to glow, tells them to get the fuck away, is burning up, literally burning fire on the skin. Little sparkle of glow in the thing, in the short spear. Gets up. This is the ship that we're going to be a part of for forever. It's going to be our legacy and whatnot. I don't know how that's going to work, but it'll work. Across the water. Reality calls to you. There's a cute girl in trouble, and she's screaming. I like this scene. The warping colors in the background work okay. The weird scattered effect of pinkish glow that's coming off of her works okay. Flash, sees that, and we flash back and forth like a dozen times between the two settings, and that evokes for him the death of somebody that he cared about previously. Suddenly we're in Bleach, and that's a holo. Okay, cool. What are we fighting? Unclear. How are we fighting it? Unclear. But this is just like what happened to her. She was an animal girl. Just like what happened to her, he says the bereavement curse at work. The curse of grief at work. Okay? And for some reason, cannot help himself. As on the other side of the city, a new form of giant beast erupts, and nobody is there to stand. Everybody is focused on capturing the prototype because that's their orders. Nobody's focused on the real threat. Your boy grabs the girl. Girl is grabbed, locked out of the thing, and brought underwater. I really like the dive into underwater. Water is chaos. The ocean is the unknown. The sea is the darkness beyond what you can predict. Monsters lurk there. Things in the depths that you don't understand. Choice is made by our character to reach out to somebody who is suffering and also has great power. Immediately, they're underwater. Overwhelmed by the complexities of potential. Something like that. Something like that. Get a cute scene between them. Hi, what's up? Reach out, grab the spear, kiss the forehead. Ah! We get to chat in liminal space. Weird. I'm 22. What's a cleric like you doing? Doesn't know what that means. Probably. I guess we can go over the details later. Stopping the giant beast comes first. Sword arrives. Flishity flash. Our heroes will appear. Their heroes will appear. The promise will be fulfilled. And that's where we finish. That's a fun setup. I want to watch another one. I gotta go download the other one. I should have done that earlier. Alright, looks like we're ready to go. I've got Arse Beasts number 2 downloaded, and we've got all the setup. There's a beast that's rampaging. It's unlike most of the beasts that we've seen before. Has no head, big glowing circle. Weird. Main female lead has taken on the ring of promise that has made her the hero, I guess. Main male lead has been snapped out of his complacent darkness, despair, and alcoholism, and jumped across the pier to save a young girl who is some manifestation of the spirit of the woman that he lost when he was younger and feels real sad about. So it's like a reawakening of potential for him, or something like that. There's a cackling evil imperial villain. Interesting background stuff with paladins and gods and clerics and history and empire and a collaborative group of masked people who run the society. And some ordinary folk who do nice things, like Kumi, who has become our main character's namesake. What's next for Giant Beasts of Ours? Well, they gotta sell this fight. They gotta nail this fight. It's gotta be a good fight. Hopefully it reveals much more about our characters and the way that they'll interact moving forward. Hopefully the aftermath of that reveals and establishes our cast of characters, because we had got this squad of characters that stands there and they're looking up and the ship is there, so we gotta have our full team. Gotta have our Mass Effect party. Gotta have our D&D squad. You gotta have the team of mains all figuring themselves out and getting established here. Here or in next episode, that has to happen. Ironing out what the process is of fighting is the thing that has to happen in this episode. I expect that that comes with some exposition territory that has to be like, we just have to blank explain this to the audience because there's no way we can show don't tell this. And so we'll see how well that is done, if it can flow as smoothly as I kind of felt that the first portions in the first episode felt. I think the first episode of this show did a lot right. Did a lot right to set up a potentially interesting landscape for future character development and playing in a fantasy mythology space that lines up with reality in a way that might actually be utilitarianly useful. See if they can follow it up. BB timer for episode 2. We'll figure it out. Yeah! Reach out! Magic spear. Magic spear acquired. Ah, it's CG. Ah, it's weird. It's the same thing. Okay? He's split apart, crucified, and made a hero. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah, gimme. Gimme, 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 gimme. Human stealing fire. Reaching up and grabbing the ring of promise. Okay. I'm down for that. That's a fine representation. The gods made the earth. Humanity stole it away when it was ripest. This led to angering the great beasts. Humanity returned contrite and requested assistance from the gods. Which is sort of the stranger. Gosh, I wish that I could continue not liking this song. Because I really don't like the first portion of the song. And then it manages to build up to something that I actually find kind of enjoyable. I was like, no, God, no. I don't like the starting point. The covenant ritual. Time to get married. When's it gonna face blast us with whatever's in that? Oh, where the fuck am I? Yeah. Again, asking the stupid questions is powerful. Yep. A virgin? God damn it. Oh, she's so heartfelt. Are we gonna make this a level 1 overwhelming? Don't get killed, Kumi. That was cool. What was that? Serious question. What was that? What did I just see? We gotta work on that drinking problem, bro. Yeah, you're out of shape. Okay, it's suddenly fully cuttable. Maybe the shiny red parts. She sees from a different perspective. Woman's intuition? Maybe. That's a thing. That's the thing. Mission complete. Okay, quick and easy. Now we gotta face whoever shows up. Oh, okay. Hi. Bye. What? That's weird. Hmm. A back alley hospital. Yes, please. Let's meet some characters. I'll bet that doctor is a character. Come on. Hey, nice ride. It's like a Batman car. It's like Code Geass. Except a boat. Huh, what happened here? An insane awakening, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna eat it or something. He just doesn't give a fuck. Yep, sniff it. Was it the black warpy stuff? To rot like this. Summon beasts and drive them mad. Unrelated, I'm sure. Oh, hi. This is the one who was talking to him? Yeah. Search the doctors. He's speaking to this guy. Okay, layered orders. Rebuild the wall. What? Mm-hmm. What is it a bun? Yeah, she gets real hungry. The Summers really had fun with this, because most of what the character just does is just saying yeah at the end of things. So, yeah. Hereby pledge this sword in sacrifice. Oh. Okay, ritualistic. Nobody with flaming hair. Weird. Oh. Well, we get to tell that story then. It's a big boy. That's a couple of big boys. They're the ones that are the pillars. Or they're like it. How'd you get out of that one? Ow. Nice. How'd you get out of that one? And then we were bonded forever. Oh, whoop. You are a cruel child. You are a cruel child. Ah. That is not what it means! I gave up on love. No, it's not. No, it's not. No! Bad cat child. No. No. Exposition flow. Mentioned it before, right? Can we flow into exposition effectively? Yes. Hmm. Hmm. I'm seeing layers. I can't even express them. Oh, what else am I gonna do? It wasn't like it was my choice or anything. Yeah, right. You can't walk away from destiny like that. You made a promise, man. You did a ritual. You formed a covenant. Oh, it's a Pokemon. I wonder if it's tasty. Hmm. Hmm. It might be indeed. Oh. It's the old feller that we see them fighting with later. Or in the OP. Man, are they gonna kill her? Ah, they're not. I'm surprised. Why does she get so hung? Have we not established that as a character trait? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Hmm. If there are any number of clerics who could replace her. So then why are they making artificial ones? Hmm. Hmm. Pheromones. Powerful things. Nods knowingly. Hmm. Ho, 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 ho. Oh, hi! Yeah. Hmm. A what? It's a tiny blonde girl. Oh. The populace stands, huh? You're a dog of the military. Ah. I wonder if they're looking for me. Ah, the fear is hitting. It's gonna kill everybody here, including Kumi. Oh! And now you're a monster. Will you get rejected by Kumi as well? Holy shit. Oh, no. You're like, shut. I'm sorry, the last dude who touched her turned into mold. Whoa! It wasn't the thwackiness of the thwack, it was the fact that it was the spear, right? So, when the girl is being uppity, you have to thwack her on the head with your short spear. Uh-huh. Just evilly say, this is all for peace. Alright, believable. Believable. Hey, he's cleaning his shit up. He even got some living plants. Can't give up the past, though. My spear! My spear! My phallic representation of fighting. No! He's dead. You killed him. Hmm. What? Calling for it. Huh? God, that's gotta be so annoying. You can just get it stuck like a frisbee. Fun. I expected more sass from her. What? What are these special magic fruits? Full boiling water. Ah! Ah. 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 Aw, that's cute. Those are also like super paladin drug, right? They're like paladin fuel. That's why he dangled it in front of him. Fully a balloon. You know what I like about this protagonist? He's not like a 17-year-old pretty boy in high school type of character, so that you can just quick identify with him. I'm sure any martial artist would have some gripes with that. Yummy! Nom nom nom. Drugs. Ah, oh, makes me feel so alive. Ah. So very alive. Still dreaming of sushi. Use that to cut the... No, you gotta use the spear to cut the... Darn. A little bit. Mr. Paladin Prodigy. Is the spear full Sun Wukong's? I thought it only did that in reaction to the magic powers of the characters. Which is to say, I thought it got longer when he was unified with the female. Because phallic symbols. This is great! I continue to be intrigued by the show! Yes. Go after them. There's no chance it could fly the way we know it can, because we've seen the OP. Imperial Maid. You put that in charge of your ship. Oh, that's very cool. It's like the copters in Dune, multi pieces. We don't need that. Huh? Wait. Ah. Uh-huh. Okay, very cute. Okay. I love how much the villains suck. I really enjoy that the villains kind of suck. You're stuck, motherfucker. Sure you are. We can skip this. We can skip the ED. You know what? The second episode lived up to its potential. I think it did. It maintains a little bit of the mystery, reveals a few of the things that have been mysteriousized, nails down the relationship, the core duo of the cast, and then the secondary relationship with the tiny child, who is clearly fucking God or something. Who cares? This sequence is cool. It does the sell on the thing. The battle is over rapidly, which is like we manage it quickly. And then we can move on from there to more intrigue stuff, which is what we've got going on in the background. And is sort of the driving force of the show, I think. We got action, intrigue, balance with a romance element that's unclear. It's very will they, won't they, which is fine. It does the thing. All in this myth framework representing gods, clerics, paladins, etc. Okay, so she becomes all crystalline. It's weird as a sequence because it's CG, but it manifests fishnet stockings and a cool dress, kind of, out of Digiscapes. Right. And cross her to be near religious styled garb. And a collar. Important to note. I humbly offer this body and soul of mine to you, Anthrovincia. Winnie, weedy, weechy, winky. Winky. Victory? Winky Latin. To defeat, to vanquish. anthropos, human being, human, man, human, man, human. Anthrovinkia would be the human who defeats or the defeater of humanity. It's either or. Latin's fucked. Fucking Latin. Defeat or overcome man. Call to a divine ideal feminine spirit that seems to be represented not just in 22, but in each of the clerics, because we get the cleric at the beginning, or the paladin at the beginning says the same thing. I call to you Anthrovinkia. That's the spirit that the gods have given us, granted us, maybe. That one. There's an implication of digiscapes here. And similarly, when we stab into the beastie and there are all these like bricks of matter that are making up the hide of the thing, it's like an implication that maybe it's all digital. But is that just because we're using digital tools to represent it, or is it intended? I don't know. And 7 arrows, if we count the one in the middle. 6 on each side, angel in the center, tiara. I don't know. Magical glow, turn into light orbs. He puts himself in the Christ self-sacrifice pose, literally. It opens his spirit, and rushing into his fractured body, shattering body and soul, is all the spirit of the girl. So there's a reversal of traditional mythology, which is males penetrate, right? It's literally reversed. The male becomes open and the feminine energy comes into him. That's interesting. Conscious? I don't know. Intentional? I don't know. More real than real, maybe, though. Well, it certainly transforms him into someone who's capable of fighting, with her as like a sidelines force in his head that is helpful. And more than that, who is helpful observationally and has better instincts and intuition. They as a unit can fight more effectively. Okay, myth framing. The mighty gods used their power to create the land. Okay. Core basic creation. We pull out until the ring enters the thing. But when the land was at its ripest, the humans stole it away. Perseus. Right? Prometheus. Not Perseus. Prometheus. Prometheus and fire. Mankind stealing away reality from the unknown conscious forces that have generated reality as it stands. That's a believably impossible representation, which is to say a myth. Okay. Doing that angered the monsters, right? This enraged the beasts who began to devour the humans. Right. So it's recompense for arrogance. But also recompense for the catastrophe of being, which requires you to take. Requires you to harvest the ripeness of the land. Yeah? And this enrages some of the fundamental forces that are not gods, that are a part of the land. And it develops a distinction there. The gods created everything. The beasts are a part of the creation. They become enraged by our actions as though we stepped out of line. As though we stepped out of the purpose or the intent of history. Oh, the biblical Genesis story fits this to a T. God creates the world. Humans have a place within it. They awaken to comprehension of the future and vulnerability. And in doing so, they begin to, they take the fruit and are cast out of the garden. Things become a catastrophe, become a problem, and the world itself becomes their punishment. The beasts, maybe. Thus, the humans called upon the strength of the gods to fight the beasts. Because they didn't piss off the gods by doing what they were doing. They pissed off the beasts. They pissed off the world. So they return to the gods of creation, seeking strength to fight. And that brings us into OP. Okay, let's extend this. The strength to fight that they are granted, that humanity is granted by the gods, having requested assistance in the face of the untenable presence of the beasts, is this reaching up toward the highest and grasping the infinite ring, circle, geometric forms, truth, ideal, okay, also represented as the promise ring, which is the stepping outside of your individuality to step into your potentially divine path of heroic responsibility. Something like that. And then that is represented as literally the promise ring that is the marriage covenant, that is the normative binary heterosexual relationship between a man and a woman, represented in every way. And doing that makes your weapon grow way bigger, and you gain the power as a unit to fight off the beasts, as well as make the cool action scenes happen. And fulfill your full potential. All by aligning with the promise of the heroic, willing, feminine matched with the heroic potential of the masculine. Bam, bam, wham, bam, binary coupling creates the power to pilot the robot, Darling in the Franxx style. Yeah, okay, sure. That's a reasonable myth. I don't like the OP song. I do like the OP visuals. I find them really fun. Don't like the OP song, though. Oh, when this guy's fighting, it's, who's fighting? No, it's ya boy who's fighting against white hair guy who's going to be present soon. And white hair guy is fighting with Size, right? Yeah, he is fighting with Size. We saw a guy in the battle where his previous love got totally dead. We saw a guy with Size who was in that. So this might be the foil pathway for him. Is like, oh, if you give in completely to resentment and allow the evils of the Empire to change you and warp you and whatever has been done to him, then you turn into this guy. That seems right. And we have that character fighting against the old guy. Which is weird, because you would expect it to be the main character fighting against the old guy. But maybe the old guy is not a bad guy. It's hard to say. It's just not clear. Fluttery waifus. Waifus go woo-woo. Cool. What's happening? This is my first time. Okay. Shut the fuck up and I'll deal with it. Yeah, reasonable. Bam, wham, wham, bam, bam. What's going on? This is crazy. This is what I'm talking about. It's like crystalline digispace. Does that mean anything? Or is that just the way we've represented it? It's hard to say. It feels like there's a force field present, you know? The overall animation is really cool. This, where it spits out an orb, and then following the orb, its face manifests? What the fuck is that? It's a really cool cut, too. What the fuck? It's like it blows it away like a dandelion or something. And then its eyes open, and we get a big red weak spot. Okay. I've just had too much to drink. Nope, you are also out of practice. This cut is cool. Shing, swing. Cool rotation on the big beastie. They sell the Sakuga. The Sakuga sells. It feels right. What should we do? Maybe go for the eye. That's just the impression that I get, and she's seeing everything from a different perspective. That's the centerpiece of it. And that intuition is what guides his blade, you might say. Quote, clerics have a sixth sense for that sort of stuff. I think that it's really easy to draw a parallel between that and the idea of women's intuition. And it's certainly It's no joke to say that two people, two sets of eyes against a problem, a giant beast you might say, will figure out a fast solution more effectively than one set of eyes. The idea that matching with a partner might give you the opportunity to fight beasts more effectively tracks. The scene's cool. Giant spear is gigantic. How it manifests, I don't know. The little bits of like warping flesh and stuff also seem to work pretty effectively for me. The visuals are good. The boy is collapsed, that's all he can do, and everything else is kind of just flow and establishment. Except miasma. The miasma idea is interesting. It's pretty common to have protagonistic characters who have some kind of problem when they get all emotional. Sometimes it's the same thing that manifests their power. Often it is the same idea. And then sometimes it's that when that's married to, literally using the word married unconsciously, married to a second character who's capable of like harnessing it, channeling it, controlling it, whatever, then it turns into power and potential, but when it's not there, it just turns into destruction that's unhinged, unharnessed. That seems correct. I mean, you're a young person. Bad things happen to the people around you. You become resentful, hurtful, and cause damage without intending it. There are some steps missing. You have to, like, actively embody that resentful energy and make choices that lead you to cause harm. It doesn't just happen around you, but it kind of does just happen around you. The darkness goes inside you, and then the darkness flows out of you and causes other people pain and harm, whether you mean it or not. And the implied potential is that she could have killed Kumi if she had touched Kumi. She could have killed any of the people in that bar if she had touched any of them in that bar. Without the right guy nearby. Sort of. Or without some direction to channel it. It can just manifest as darkness. And he loves it. This guy loves that darkness. Okay, the cute character eating cute things is cute, and I approve. If this show didn't have a cute character who eats cute things, I don't think I would be as into it, even close. It's like the buddy daddies thing. You gotta nail the cuteness, otherwise it doesn't function. In fact, if it didn't have that, it would just be a shonen edge fest. But it does have that, and so it ends up with another layer. And I find it more compelling. Also, the ritual is kind of cool. It's like a gratitude for the thing. All right, never seen one quite this large. And then somebody says, we defeated that one before and it returned. And I'm curious about that. This whole scene is nice and dark and spooky. It reminds me of Hollows from Bleach. The actual figures, the humanoid characters with their weird masks, look like the pillar figures in the mythological circle representation thing. Weird. How do we get out of this one? I don't know. Oh, that is that guy. 100%. Scars on his face, white hair, flowy back, size in his hands. That's the guy. All right, so they've gone completely different paths. He's now a member of the authoritarian elite of the thing. So we've got this history that will come to bear when they actually meet each other and figure out the darkness that's blah, blah, blah. Line. There are any number of other clerics who could replace them. Being a paladin is something unique. Being a cleric is more common. Seems to be the implication. It's unclear. And his response is something like, nope, this one's special. And that's sort of the response that you need for that previously aforementioned binary coupling thing to work. If the guy just thinks they're a dime a dozen, it doesn't work. If the girl just thinks they're a dime a dozen, it doesn't work. Both of them have to be like, that one's special. And it's kind of idiotic, right? Because there are like 4 billion other people of the proper gender, and maybe half of them are within an age range that's acceptable, and maybe half of those you might actually find attractive. And that's still 1 billion people almost, right? So it's like, this one's special. Probably not. But if you don't believe that that one's special, then the relationship doesn't work. So maybe that one's special. Problem with that one being special is you get dead or you lose it and now you're crushed. And that's what he is. And we need a new type of relationship in order to awaken him. And in this case, it's very father-daughter-y. The whole forehead kiss should imply that, right? It's very father-daughter-y. There's no sexualization of the female lead. There's only moification of the female lead. It's all striving for protect instincts. Raftalia style. A young Raftalia style before that gets weird. Power of a cleric is formidable, but it's a problem because they can lose control and release a miasma that destroys everything around them. That's what paladins are for. The good dick keeps a cleric in check. Sorry, I kid. They're vessels who channel and control a cleric's power, although we become nothing but tools to hunt giant beasts these days. Salarymen. Right? Right. That's exactly it. Frontline warriors against the monsters of existence without any real self-direction or heroic ideation behind it. It's just the necessity, just the requirement. Married, covenant. You can find another paladin. It's like, nope, not a chance. And the scheming of the character who has some fate control maybe is going to assist in that as well. This felt like a murder scene. This feels like a murder scene. This feels like this character should not survive this interaction. But I'm wrong. She says, it's the same one we took down once before. So it was the same monster. We see this sword, but this is the first time I've ever seen a giant beast have eyes like that. It was a young spear wielder. Is this the start of one of those old legends or what? Got anything to say? Just to be clear, we're not getting involved. So here's my question, actually. That sword is the sword in the OP, right? Or in the first opening of the first episode. That sword. Okay, great. That's the sword, 100%. Does this guy, the old dude, does he have a scar across the bridge of his nose? Yes. And a little thing here. So that's an age spot that's gone. The gods apparently created those things to devour the world, and that's the same monster, right? Like, that's the same beast that we just saw them slay. Yeah, 30 years later. Okay, so that's that character, for sure. And then the question that I have to bring up is she the cleric who was with him? Because she says it was that one that we took down, the same one that we took down once before. But this time it had the red eyes. Because it was eyeless before. So something that has reawakened dead monsters from the past. It is her, isn't it? She does have the purple-eyed eyes. Oh, that's cool. Hey, that's fucking cool. That's a cool little mystery. It's also why she does the heroic stand-up thing. Thanks for your help, lady. Okay, flying sword thing, very goofy. Main character running around, very goofy. She's right there, right in the moment. Has the thing that only a paladin would care about, probably. Magic paladin fruit. Drugs. Good luck, Mr. Paladin Prodigy. Takes one to know one. This scene that some martial artists would have some problems with, who cares? Your boy really loves rock candy. And meth. It's meth. It's meth. It's methamphetamine. It's monster meth. Do the monster meth. Spears, jumping, floating. This is great. Take the opportunity to make it a runaway scene into a goofy gag. Hurrah! Strong! Hurrah! Excited! Perfect. 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 Every scene you can characterize in different ways for each of the characters, and it produces more time, which is important because you got to fill your time for the episodes. But it's also, it makes it more deep, makes it more intricate, makes you feel like it reaffirms who the characters are and the way that they act. CG ship thing is really cool. I actually really like its design. I think it's very neat. All right, onward. No kisu for you. Big spabam with the spear, and onward. And we're off into the future. Episode 2 gets a thumbs up from me. I'm shocked. I like this show. I like it a lot, actually. I find it interesting. Do I think that it's going to be one of the great pieces of modern fiction that's going to tell the grand story of humanity better than anyone's ever done it before? No. But it does fit. And it fits into a puzzle piece space that's, like, that might be worth watching. Maybe there are some good ideas that present themselves as we move forward. Maybe not. Maybe it just sets up a solid landscape and then toodles around, fucking around, doing nothing for a while. But maybe there's hope. Maybe there's the potential of interesting storytelling to be had here, especially given that it's an anime original, and they might not be trying to make it a multi-season extravaganza thing. They might just be trying to go for 12 episodes that tells a compelling story and is isolated and done. And like, there's a chance we might be able to tie it in with a season 2, but probably not, so we might as well tell the story as best as we can right now. And when you do stuff like that, you get like Symphogear, where it's like, oh, there's some sauce here, and we can build toward a finale, and there's a potential for a climax, and it's like, there could be reasonable movement through the story. There can be reasonable directed narrative purpose. Because when you've got a thing that you intend to be ongoing, you can't change anything that much. Because you don't know if you might accidentally change the thing that compels your viewers. Oops. We killed the bad guy that we thought was just a throwaway bad guy, and everybody revolted, and they don't want to be part of the story anymore because we did it wrong. That's terrifying. But if you've got a limit, if you've got a hard cap on it, it's going to be 13 episodes max. And you got room. You can experiment within those limitations. You can fuck around. You can have all the characters die at the end. And the whole audience will be like, wow, that was pretty interesting. Didn't expect that. You can have characters undergo a noble sacrifice. You can follow through with the idea that the promise ring is going to pull your soul out of your body. It's going to end you. It's going to corrupt you. It's going to consume you. Take away your life essence. You can play with that. You can have that occur for some reason or not. You can develop characters with their endgame in mind. I wonder if they have. I think I have to watch more of the show to find out. I don't know if I'm going to watch more of the show. There are a lot of shows that I still have to watch. And it might be the case that a week from now, when I've watched 15 more shows, I'll have totally forgotten about Arse no Kyojuu. And maybe in context, just I happen to have watched a bunch of pretty mid shows, and this one stands out a little bit because it's a little bit less mid. And I'm intrigued by it, but maybe it'll just flow into the background of my imagination and I'll never care again. I don't know. Maybe I'll be compelled to watch more. I don't know. So, certainly, if I were just casually watching anime this season, I think I would watch the rest of Arse no Kyojuu, because I'm interested in it. That might be the only motivation that is needed to indicate that I should go and do it. I don't know. Cool. An unexpected gem. I came into this with one thing in my mind, which was the promo art looks fine, but mostly generic, and har har arse joke. That was all I had. And what I've got is a thing that might actually have some storytelling. Yeah. It made me feel a thing and think a thing. Nice. Super nice. Big win. Didn't expect to spend 3 hours talking about Arse no Kyojuu either. Oops. It's like setting myself up to draw something. It's like, I don't know what I'm going to draw. I don't know what's going to manifest forth given the situation, the state of being, the current emotional state. No idea. 3-hour video on Arse no Kyojuu. Oh, where did that come from? I don't know. This is a weird world that I live in. I enjoyed that a lot. See you for whatever I treasure hunt next. Peace.